as we inch closer and closer to this partial solar eclipse that we're going to be experiencing on September the 21st, which also coincides with the fall equinox, we are really experiencing like this sort of final push for release, this final push for letting go, this final push for transformation. And I think it's so beautiful. It feels really transformative. It feels really liberating. There's this energy of release that I am picking up on and that I'm feeling within myself. And if you are someone who has been moving through like a lot of struggle, a lot of challenges, especially inner challenges where you have really given your power away to that dark inner voice, that ego voice that always tells you that everything is limitation, that there's not enough, that you're not good enough. You know, if you have been giving away a lot of that personal power to the inner critic, then this eclipse is so facilitating. It is so helping you to release that. There is, I feel like, a culmination point that one must reach within themselves. There is this finality, this point where you have to reach, where you just simply decide that you are done, that you are no longer going to entertain those thoughts, that you are no longer going to believe those thoughts, that you're no longer going to listen to those thoughts. Because it is only through taking your power back, it is only through releasing yourself from that karma, from that experience, and from all the negativity and all of the unwanted experiences that you end up creating for yourself through believing those thoughts, through believing all of the lack and limitation that it feeds you. This eclipse, for me personally, has felt very liberating. It has felt so incredibly freeing. And I do feel, in all honesty, that it's because I have arrived at a certain place within myself. I've arrived at a certain level within myself where I am now very, very consciously, very deliberately, and on purpose choosing to only give my attention and my focus to feelings of love and abundance and joy and fulfillment. And anything that isn't that, I literally just turn away from it. I shut it down like immediately. Like it has to be such a powerful, such a sort of like forceful thing within you where you're like, no, I'm not listening. I'm not doing this anymore. And we have to recognize that we really truly perpetuate our own cycles. And that was actually something that I discovered for myself. Like I had to reach this point within myself. For me, like it was with my health journey or my physical fitness where I was like, you know what? This sucks. Like every time I look in the mirror, I was criticizing myself and just not feeling my most beautiful self, my most healthy self. And so I made a very, very conscious choice to change that. I made a very conscious choice to really start only feeding my body the things that are serving it, the things that provide it nutrition, and really everything else is out. And it was this realization where I was like, you know what? Like if I don't change what I put in my body, and if I don't change the mindset that I have about my body, it's never going to change. It doesn't matter how many walks I go for or how many workouts I do. I was actually perpetuating the state of my physical vessel through my own thoughts. And there's something really, really powerful that I recognized. And it was about how, and I know this is like eclipse energy, so that's why I'm sharing this. My thoughts are actually what perpetuate stagnation in my body. It's not even my diet. It's not even like what I'm consuming. That has an influence as well, but I feel like my thoughts are actually more powerful in influencing my body than the actual things that I'm consuming. And I really started to dig into this, and I've been researching this stuff for quite some time now. And I've actually been slowly like changing my mindset and really looking at how I'm perceiving my physical vessel. And there are multiple studies, there are multiple like scientific research papers that have been written on the fact that a person can literally eat something that is really bad for them, but when they tell themselves that that thing is good for them, it actually has an opposite effect. It doesn't have a negative effect in the body. It has a positive effect in the body. So there is ample research out there that proves and validates the fact that our mind is so much more powerful than we realize, that our mind has so much more of an impact and an effect on our physical vessels, on our external environment, because we are creating that external environment with our thoughts and with our feelings constantly. And there was someone that had written a comment under my last video where the video was titled, "Have you had enough yet?" And I want to read the comment to you so that you understand what sort of state of mind this individual is in. And I really, really want to support this person to see things in a very different way. So I'll read the comment and then I'm going to kind of break down where the pitfalls are with the way that he is thinking. So this individual is saying, "How do you break free? I don't feel anything different. I'm not sensitive like you and others. My problems are there in the morning when I wake up. My pain is still there in my body in the morning. I keep asking God for help and nothing changes. I keep telling myself I deserve more and better, put on a happy face. I tell myself that if others do it, I can do it too, but nothing seems to change. Maybe it's bad karma. Thank you for your beautiful words." So let's break this down a little bit. So to answer your question, how do you break free? You break free in the mind first. You have to break free from the thoughts that are perpetuating the way that you are feeling, the pain that you are creating in your body, the pain that is actually being stored in your body. You have to look at your physical pain in a very, very different way. So your physical pain is an indication of energy blockages and actually stored emotions. Energy blockages are created by stored emotions. Okay, and I just spent like the last two, oh my God. So first of all, I want to say to you that you have some serious energy blockage at the throat. Like I've literally been trying to clear my throat for the last like 2 minutes. So as I'm tapping into your energy, I'm immediately picking up on that. There is definitely something that you need to release, that you need to vocalize, that you need to express or to say. If someone had hurt you in the past and you were not able to resolve that with that individual, what I would highly recommend you do is you write it out. Write out everything you want to say to this person. If it's anger or frustration that you want to express to them, then that's what you write out. Every word that you want to say, everything that is being held in your throat chakra, everything that you are holding back. Pain, I'm hearing specifically. So there's definitely a lot of emotional pain that is stuck in your body. And that's the physical pain that you are feeling in the mornings when you're waking up. So you can begin your process with that. Because the first thing you got to do is release. You need to give yourself permission to release. You need to give yourself permission to heal. And the only way that you're going to do that, like I said, is if you can't physically or using technology like via email or text message or phone call or whatever, if you're not able to communicate directly with the person, then the next best thing that you can do is to write it out. And the moment that you have written this out, this message or this pain or this hurt that you want to express to this individual, is the moment that you're actually going to release it from your body. The second thing I would recommend right after that is that you take that letter that you have now written, so write it on a blank piece of paper and burn that piece of paper immediately after. This completely transmutes the energy and completely releases the energy from your body. I use this technique and this method on numerous occasions. I've done this a ton of times. It really does work. There is a true sense of release, and when you do it in an eclipse window, that particularly gives you a chance to really truly release it. Like the fact that you even wrote a comment tells me that you are ready to release some things, and I think you just need some help. I think you just need some guidance to be able to do that. So that's what I would recommend to you. The next thing, so that is addressing the pain in the body. The other thing to address the pain in the body is taking a look at how you are seeing your body, how you are viewing your body. If you keep telling yourself that your body is sick, that your body is ill, that your body is inflamed, that your body is fighting something, or that, oh, my joints hurt, my back hurts, this hurts, that hurts. If you keep saying all these things to yourself constantly, or you keep focusing, you keep directing your attention onto those things, then you're going to keep perpetuating the feeling. The body, every single cell of your body is intelligent, and it's picking up on your thoughts, on your feelings, on your frequency, and how you perceive it. So when you perceive your body to be unhealthy, when you perceive your body to be in pain, what you are constantly telling your body is to keep producing that pain, because that is what I am observing. So you have to shift the observation. And I know this is challenging. I'm not saying any of this stuff is easy that I'm suggesting, but it is simple. These are simple things that you can do, and you can do immediately. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't have to even take a lot of time. You can just start working on really shifting your mindset about how you view your body, your physical pain, and stop telling yourself that you are in pain and start telling yourself that you are healthy, that your body feels amazing, that you're energized, and just do that for 7 days. Every single morning, the first thing you do when you wake up and you feel that pain in your body, immediately redirect your attention to feeling good. And even if you're just sitting on the edge of your bed for like 5 minutes and you're telling yourself, you take a deep breath and you just tell yourself and you tell your body, thank you so much, body, for functioning so well and for being so healthy. Thank you that I am pain-free. Thank you that you take care of me. Thank you, all of my organs, my heart, my liver, my kidneys, my pancreas, my spleen, my everything. Thank you so much, my brain, for functioning so well, for supporting my physical health, and for always letting me know when something is off. So it's like you are communicating to your body, you are sending a message to your body, and your body will respond to that. So that's like the mental and emotional aspect of the body. The spiritual aspect, or the spiritual release part, is the healing, right? So that's you writing the letter. That's going to allow you to heal spiritually, also emotionally. And you say that you're not sensitive like myself or like other people. I would probably argue with that. I would actually say that maybe you are overly sensitive and you're not realizing that some of the pain that you're feeling actually may not even be yours. So that's also something to keep in mind. If you feel physical pain in your body, if you're feeling it for like prolonged periods, or if you're just particularly feeling it when you're around other people, all of a sudden, like a pain here and there, or like a sharp shooting something here and there, then you need to immediately ask yourself, and always ask yourself, is this pain even mine? Does this pain even belong to me? And usually what I notice for myself is that if the pain doesn't belong to me, it very quickly dissipates. So I want to share a quick example with you to kind of demonstrate this. I went out for my walk this morning, and as I was walking, a lady had passed me who was jogging. And when this lady had passed me, we both said good morning to each other, and literally 2 seconds after she passed me, I started to feel a really intense pain in my pancreas area, like just under my left breast. It was sharp, it was sudden, it was unexpected. I wasn't feeling it when I had left the house. I wasn't feeling it on my walk at all. It was just the moment that this lady had ran past me, I felt it. And so I'm walking for a bit, and it's been quite a distance now between us. She's passed me. I'm continued walking forward, and I just kind of was like, whoa, like it was intense enough that it really, really caught my attention. So then I asked my body, I said, is this pain even belong to me? Is this mine? So as I'm walking, it took probably about, I'm going to say maybe like 1 to 2 minutes, maybe not even 2 minutes, but like about a minute and a half. And the pain just started to completely dissipate. Like it just completely disappeared. And so in that moment, I immediately knew, I'm like, okay, that was not mine. That was hers. She's clearly got either a physical pancreatic issue, or she is just very unhappy, because the pancreas is connected to our joy. The pancreas is what processes sugar in the body, right? So it is our ability to process joy. It is our ability to experience joy. So I'm like, okay, that was definitely hers. So it's very important for us to always check in with ourselves, because if just because you think you're not sensitive, you probably are. I find actually most humans are very, very much picking up on the subtle energies that are around them. They just don't know that they're picking it up. They're not aware that, some of the things that they're feeling, or a sudden shooting pain, or a sudden headache, that those things are energetic in nature, or that they are vibrational in nature. So definitely like I said, for homework, I would recommend you, specifically this commenter, I would recommend you to write out a letter of any pain, emotional pain that you are feeling, anything that you feel is still lingering within you, that is a hurt that you are still like nursing, that you're still sort of protecting and hanging on to. Write that out, express it fully and completely so that you can totally like put it outside of yourself instead of holding it in, because that's the throat chakra. Like I literally lost my voice. So that tells me that you are shutting it down. You're not letting it flow. So that's number one, is write your letter, and then definitely burn it. You burn it right down to the very last little piece. Every inch of that piece of paper should be completely turned to ash. Okay. Second, ask yourself. So once you've done like a release exercise like this during this eclipse season, then you can ask yourself, any physical pain that you are feeling in your body, is this even mine? Give your body, give your energy to respond to what you have just asked yourself, to what you have just vibrationally put out. Let your aura, your energy field respond to that. So give yourself a couple of minutes and see how the pain reacts. Does it dissipate? Does it go away? Does it get more intense? Usually if it dissipates, it's not yours. If the pain remains, then yes, it is yours. The next thing I want to address in this comment was you're mentioning, I keep asking God for help and nothing changes. Okay, there's like so much to unpack here with these 4 lines in this comment. So you're asking God for help, but you're not allowing the receiving to happen. And so what happens is when we're constantly just asking for help, we are not in receiving mode. That asking is coming from your observation of not having. So if you keep perceiving that you are not having the help or whatever it is that you are asking for, if you keep perceiving and keep noticing that you do not have it, then the I keep asking is going to produce no results. It's going to produce what you are vibrationally, not what you are asking for. So if you are embodying lack, if you are noticing lack, if you are constantly focused upon lack and only paying attention to lack, then that is what you are going to continue to draw into your life and into your experience. So God, as a spiritual person, I really, really want to kind of clear up this misconception, because I think a lot of people really misunderstand God. God is a universal consciousness. It is a universal all-knowing mind, right? And God is constantly providing solutions for us. What we have to do is actually tap into those solutions. But we tap into the solution through surrender, through release, through detachment, through not focusing on the lack of what we want in our lives. So God doesn't like perform miracles necessarily in people's lives in the way that we think. It's not like I'm going to sit here, feel like a victim 24/7, and I'm going to ask God to fix my life. Because guess what? On my own spiritual journey, on my own spiritual awakening, this was something I used to do. And it was something I used to do because that's how I was taught. That's what I was taught. I went to a Catholic school my whole life. That's what I, was led to believe, that we are supposed to just keep asking God for help, keep asking for support. And what I was never taught was, but you also need to get out of the victim energy. You also need to get out of the not having energy. Otherwise, you are not receptive. It's like you are literally blocking and pushing back the things that you are asking for. It can't come into your experience because all you keep observing is the lack and the limitations. So for anyone out there that is, praying to God and asking for things and those things are not coming in, it's not because God is rejecting you or God is denying you. It is because God is actually trying to help you see that you are not in alignment with the thing that you are asking for, because God is constantly delivering, constantly vibrationally aligning things to you based on your energy, based on the core frequency and vibration that you are holding within yourself. So to actually experience the things that you want to experience in your life, you're going to need to be in alignment internally, energetically with that thing. Like you need to be in the feeling, in the mindset, in the thoughts, and focus on the feeling of like already having it, of already being that person, or already experiencing the thing that you want to experience. So essentially, God comes through for you and you end up manifesting what you desire. God doesn't like put something into your life. You are manifesting. God is saying, I already put a spark of me into you. Like you already have that divine spark. You are a part and parcel of that divinity. It is inside of you. It is within you. You have the capacity to create miracles, to move worlds. Like you already have that divinity within you. Why do you keep observing yourself as a victim? Why do you keep observing yourself or seeing yourself as someone who is lacking that ability? Then the next thing that you're saying here is that I keep telling myself I deserve more and better. I put on a happy face. So you're telling yourself, yes, that you deserve better, and that maybe you're even telling yourself that you're worthy, but I don't think that you're feeling it. And feeling is such a massive part of calling things into our experience, because you can't fool consciousness. You can't fool the field. The field is responding to your energy, and your energy is emitted based on the feelings that you are feeling. So this isn't like a mind game. Like you can't think your way through manifestation. You have to like feel yourself and immerse yourself into that feeling of already having the thing that you desire. So while you could be telling yourself that, I'm worthy of this, I deserve this, and I should have this in my life already, but simultaneously feeling like a victim, feeling like, you don't have it, and focusing on the not having of it, it just can't come. Do you see how the two energies don't match? It's like you can't manifest abundance when you are internally feeling lack. The two energies are completely different, like frequency-wise, vibrationally, and so they can't magnetize into each other. And when you say that you put on a happy face, that tells me that you're faking it. You're not actually happy. You're not feeling happy. You're not giving yourself permission to truly feel liberated, to truly feel what it feels like when you have the thing that you desire. So don't just put on a happy face and pretend like you're okay with everything, but simultaneously on the inside, feel that lack or feel that limitation or feel unhappy because you're believing what your ego is saying, and your ego is constantly telling you stories of lack and limitation. It's like the more you observe the lack in your life, the more you're going to experience that lack in your life. Like you're just going to perpetually create it. It's like a cycle that you're stuck in, right? And you just keep going around and around and around. It's like, oh, look at all the lack in my life. And then you end up just creating more of that lack because you keep observing the lack. And then lastly here, you're saying that you tell yourself that if others can do it, then so can you. This is absolutely true. And I'm going to say actually that this message is coming from your higher self. So this is your higher self saying, listen, you have all the tools you need within you to create the life that you want. You're just simply not managing your energy correctly. You're not using your energy correctly. You're not focusing it or directing it in a very specific way. So deep down inside, you already know that you are capable of creating much better for yourself, that you're able to create like a healthy, pain-free body, that you're able to create like an abundant, awesome, prosperous life for yourself, a happy life. Like you already know innately, deep down, if you really listen to your intuition, then you know that you have the ability to create these things. But what gets in the way, what the opponent or sort of like your enemy is your ego. Your ego believes the story of lack and limitation, feeds you those thoughts. Those thoughts in turn feed you those feelings of lack and limitation, and it keeps you stuck in a perpetual cycle. And believe me when I tell you that I have been where you are right now. I have been in that place like, oh, well, maybe my life isn't what I want it to be because, I have bad karma, or like, this is something I'm like meant to experience or whatever. Now I know better. Now I know that, no, that's not really a thing. Karma is something that we create for ourselves. Every experience that we have, we create for ourselves. We call those experiences in, those people, those situations through our own personal energy, through our own frequency and vibration. And now that I've gotten a handle on my frequency, on my thoughts, on how I'm feeling, on a regular basis. And I understand that I have this immense power within me to change how I'm feeling through my own personal free will and choice. I actually now kind of refuse to believe that, that there's like some kind of a punishment or some kind of a bad karma that like I was meant to experience. No, everything I experienced in my past, all the betrayals, all the letdowns, all the different ways that, people didn't treat me right and stuff, all of that I experienced because I was such a victim. I felt like such a victim on the inside. I felt like so small, so weak, so vulnerable to other people's like BS and like other people screwed me over. I was the one actually perpetuating that and calling in more and more and more experiences of that because of how I was feeling about myself. And once I shifted that, once I moved myself out of that energy and I said, no, I'm not a victim of anything. I have actually full control and full access to my own personal power. I just need to start using it correctly. Then everything started to change. Those types of situations completely fell away. I healed a ton of like emotional pain. I released a lot of emotional pain. I let people go from my life and I let them go. At the time it wasn't necessarily easy, but it kind of was at the same time because I felt just so much lighter after I let them go. So it's like I was able to release so much. I was able to shed so much of who I wasn't for real, truly deep down at the core of my being, that all of the false programming, all of the pain, all of the shitty experiences I had just like fell off. They completely fell out of my life and they stopped. And I didn't have any more of those experiences. I didn't call in any more connections or relationships that were toxic or narcissistic in nature or out of balance or just, not mutually reciprocal. Like all of that just stopped. And it stopped because I made a choice that I did deserve better at that time. And I decided to move forward and start really focusing on creating a happy, joyful inner world for myself. And that process is something that I feel every person has to move through, whether we want to sit here and just say like, well, you just have to decide. Yes, you can decide. But when something is really deeply ingrained, it is a little bit of a process that you have to move through. You can just decide in any given moment that you are done with a certain energy, that you're done with a certain cycle, that you're done with a certain experience, and simply start feeling and start living from a new energy. You can do that. You are that powerful. You have a particle of God within you that literally allows you to create miracles in your own life. So that is possible. However, I find for most people, and even for myself on my own personal journey, it was a process. It was a process of healing. It was kind of slow, and it took a while for me to escape the trappings of my ego, is how I want to put it, because ultimately my ego was the only thing that ever kept me stuck. My ego was the only thing that ever kept me in pain. It was the only thing that ever kept me feeling like a victim, like I was powerless, like I couldn't get my shit together. And it was an illusion. And unfortunately, I very heavily bought into the illusion for a really long time. And then once my spiritual awakening began in 2017, that's when I really started to unravel this illusion that I was so locked in. It was truly like a cage. I see it so often that people that are very, very stuck in the illusion of lack and limitation that the ego creates, it can be a very difficult process for them to break through that. So the very first thing I'm going to suggest to anyone who is going through some kind of a shedding process right now during this eclipse window is to really, really be aware of your ego. Like, who is in charge within you? Is it your ego or is it your higher self? And how you know the difference is that the ego is always spewing like fear. It's always trying to tell you stories of lack and limitation, where your higher self is fully intuitive. It is fully communicating with you through your intuition. This beautiful little thing that, God Creator put within us, our intuition. That's how you know, okay, this feels aligned. This feels like the right action to take. This actually excites me. This brings me joy. I'm going to do it. That's intuition. Where ego is very fear-based. It's very limited. It's very skewed. It's this, oh no, I better do this, or oh my gosh, I better do that because this and that. Like it constantly creates scenarios within your mind that are absolute worst case scenarios. It constantly creates scenarios of failure, of how something isn't going to come through for you or whatever. Those are just stories. They're just BS, false, limited stories that the ego creates, because the ego is extremely attached to the material world. The ego is extremely attached to validation, to everything external, right? It's the material world that actually creates the ego and then feeds the ego, where the higher self is connected to divine source, and it is absolutely unlimited. It is unbound. It is an ever-expanding universal consciousness. So recognize right now, under this eclipse season, what are you ready to release fully and completely? What are you completely done with? And give yourself permission to actually fully step into your power and say, no, from this point on, I create my reality, and I create my reality with how I'm feeling, the thoughts that I'm thinking, and the things that I give my attention and my focus to. So that is the message I wanted to share today. That is the message that was coming through. So thank you so much for tuning in. I really, really hope that this message reaches the commenter that we sort of analyzed here. I also really hope that this message reached whoever it needed to reach. If you are someone that is listening and you're still here, then you are definitely ready for change. You are definitely ready for something new to enter your life, whether that's a new mindset, whether that's a new attitude, a new experience of higher love, a new experience of a better job, a new home, whatever it is, you are ready for something new to happen and for something new to enter into your life. So let this final week, these final 5 days of this eclipse season, be a true and powerful point of release. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you'd like to work with me, the link is in the description box below, and I will see you very soon in the next video.